It's a beautiful Valentine's Day in Long Beach, and there's just enough time to catch a sunset. Let's go. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody! Today is February 14th, 2017, and because it's Valentine's Day, I thought I would talk about love. Hi everyone, my name is Heather. I'm a vlogger, creator, and entrepreneur, and I'm documenting my entrepreneurial journey through vlogs on this YouTube channel. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button. What is love? So if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I am a very emotional person, and it's no surprise that I am also a hopeless romantic. But for most of my life, I thought I knew what love was. I had a very set definition of what it was. And if you haven't seen my dating video yet, you can click here to watch it. But basically, I talk about how I was in very long-term relationships for most of my adult life. Since I've been single for going on 3.5 years now, and since I began my entrepreneurial journey, my definition of love has been redefined. It's actually something I often think about, and in my head it's still fluid. I'm still trying to figure out, if someone were to ask me what is love, I couldn't give you a set definition, but I know it when I see it. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things that when I see, I know that's love. Number 1, accepting someone for everything that they are. I think before, what I would do is try to find someone that fit this mold of a perfect guy. And if there was some characteristic or situation or circumstance about them that didn't fit the mold, that was seen as a red flag. And the more red flags a person had, the less qualified they were to date me. And, looking back now, I think that mold is society's mold. And my whole story of being an entrepreneur is predicated on me doing the exact opposite of what society expects me to do. My definition of success is also the opposite. And so now I've come to see that someone's flaws or someone's red flags are a part of who they are, and love is being able to accept that and not trying to change them so that they don't have that red flag anymore and that they fit this mold. I don't think that is love. In fact, I think it's even more special if the person who has these red flags acknowledges them. So say that it's a flaw that they acknowledge in themselves. You could be the person to help support them so that they can overcome that flaw. Now I see red flags as unfinished stories. Rather than change someone to fit the expectations of what you want them to be, you are instead helping them to become the person that they want to be. You're helping them write their story. Number 2. When you think about someone randomly. So say you have a really busy day, you're swamped at work and you're doing a million things, or even the opposite. Say you're just lounging on the couch watching TV or something, and the thought of someone just happens to come into your mind, and that thought of them makes you happy. I think that is love to some degree. I think a lot of people take happiness for granted. It's an emotion that could be very difficult for some people to find. So when just the thought of someone makes you happy, and this person makes you happy without them even trying, I think to some degree that's love. Number 3, unconditionality. So I don't even know if unconditionality is a word, or if it is a word, I don't know if it's the right word. Unconditional love is when you love someone and you don't expect anything in return. And that's why I don't think it's necessarily the right word, because I don't think that should be the focus. Rather, I think that if you do something for someone because you know it will make them happy, and you are purely doing it because the fact that you created joy and happiness and the feeling of, you know, being special for that other person, and that's the only reason why you are doing something for that person, that to me is love. You don't expect anything in return. It's not something that you use against them in the future, like, oh, I did this for you, or I got you this. It's just purely knowing that you were able to create that feeling for somebody, and that brings you joy. Number 4, it's about getting on the same page. People are going to fight, people are going to argue, whether it's between friends, you know, between significant others, between family members, whatever. People are going to always disagree. But to me, there is love when the goal of the fight or the argument is to understand each other and get back onto the same page rather than to prove something, rather than to cast blame, and rather than to make the person feel like they lost and you won. You know, it's not about that. I feel like the reason why people disagree is because there's just a misunderstanding at the essence. There's a misunderstanding or miscommunication, and people have to communicate so that they can get back onto the same page where they understand each other. Recognizing that, especially when you are, you know, hiding emotions, you're frustrated, the goal is not to win, it's to get back onto the same page so you can move forward. That to me is love. And lastly, time. Time is definitely something that I have come to appreciate in a whole different way ever since I became an entrepreneur. I know now that it is a person's most valuable resource above anything else. You know, all the money in the world doesn't matter at the end of the day, because time is non-renewable. You can't get more time, and we all don't know how much time each other has. And knowing that you only have a certain amount of time, if you want to spend your time in whatever way, you know, whether you go on vacation, you go on a date, you laze around in bed, you watch a movie, you know, whatever activity that you do, if you want to give your time to someone, your most precious resource to somebody, willingly, and the thought of spending your time with another person makes you happy, I think that's love. So those are 5 things that I know to be love. Even though I don't have a significant other, I feel love. It definitely wasn't like that before. You know, I was one of those girls that would call Valentine's Day like Single Appreciation Day and whatever. Like, if you don't have a significant other, you feel especially lonely on Valentine's Day. But because of my entrepreneurial journey, I've just come to look at everything differently and appreciate everything in a different way. I've come to realize that love doesn't necessarily have to come from a significant other. I feel loved because there are so many people in my life that I love, and I want to tell you guys who they are. So I tried to break them up into categories, but there's definitely going to be some overlap. Number 1, my mom, my dad, and my brother, and my dog. Definitely my entrepreneurial journey, if you've been watching me, you know, especially since the beginning, it hasn't been easy on them. And there were months where we actually weren't speaking to each other at all. But now, you know, I actually just went to go visit them on Sunday, and it's honestly so beautiful to see how much my entrepreneurial journey has kind of changed our family dynamic. And it's so nice because we understand each other now, and they see what I'm trying to do, and they fully support me 100%. And, you know, I think if there wasn't love there, we would have just continued to not speak to each other. But again, it comes back to us trying to get onto the same page, because at the end of the day, we do love each other and we want to be there for each other. So yeah, love you guys. Number 2, my friends. You guys know who you are. I can't even explain how much I love you guys and how much you all mean to me. You guys do so much to keep me sane when I am stressed out every single day, whether we go out for drinks and party, or we just laze around, or we play video games, or whatever, you know, whatever we're doing. It's so nice to know that even though I've had to take a step back from hanging out with you all and spending time with you all. I really appreciate that you understand why and that you support me in this journey and that you haven't forgotten about me. You guys are there for me in a way that no one else is. I think a lot of people, when I'm in my darkest moments, they try to give me advice and they try to help me come up with tactics and strategies, but sometimes you just need to turn everything off, and you guys really help me to do that. Number 3, my entrepreneur buddies. I don't know what else to call them, but basically it's like my mentor Sid, everyone in the WeWork crew, anyone that I've met on this entrepreneurial journey that, you know, not only did I meet, but when you heard about my story, you've offered me advice, you've supported me, you've helped to guide me, and that's really meant a lot to me because your experience and your perspectives are so valuable to me, and I really do take everything that you guys say to heart. It does so much for not only my brainstorming, but my soul. It really does validate me, so I appreciate all of it and I love you guys. Number 4, anyone that I have helped or mentored. Before I began my entrepreneurial career, I was a mentor for youth, helping you guys achieve your goals and, you know, work through your struggles, whether it was about homework or college applications or dating. It really empowered me, and in my darkest moments throughout my career, not even just in the entrepreneurial journey, but when I went on to other positions, I always thought about that. That just validated what I can do for people and how I've been able to make an impact on people. And I still have all of the cards that you've written for me and all of the pictures, and I definitely treasure all those moments. Going off of that, anyone that I've helped in any way since, you know, maybe it was just something as small as a casual conversation that, you know, made you happy, or a brainstorm session that gave you ideas that helped you with something. Not only does it bring me joy to help others, but again, it comes back to empowerment. When I'm second guessing myself, these situations, these conversations, and these times that I've helped you, they pop into my brain, and they are things that I think about, and it really does help me to overcome those dark moments. So to anyone that I've helped or mentored, thank you for giving me the chance to help you, because you might not realize it, but that also helps me too, and I love you. Lastly, to my subs, fans, and followers. On this entrepreneurial journey, I've really come to appreciate organic thought. It's something I actually never even thought about before. There are so many times where I have to just sit and think and just wait for the answer to come. And it's really just a combination of all of my experience, everything that I've learned, conversations I've had with people, my research, metrics that I've been looking at. All of these things are just in my head, and I just need to sit and think. The organic thought is just me coming to this conclusion, which leads me to another conclusion, which leads me to another conclusion. And your views, likes, comments, messages, you know, any kind of interaction with the things that I create, that really contributes to my organic thought. And there's so many times where I'll get stuck. Like, I can only go so far with my organic thought. But because of how you engage with my content, that helps me to continue. I don't think that there's any way that I can actually explain to you how important that is to me. Like, I honestly would not be doing this video. I wouldn't be doing any of this if not for that feedback, because I can't get this feedback anywhere else. I truly appreciate you guys. It means the world to me, and I love you. So on this Valentine's Day, the day where we all acknowledge and celebrate the most beautiful thing in the world, love, I wish all of you so much love. If there is ever a time where you feel lonely, whether it's today on Valentine's Day or any other day that you feel unloved, know this: love is so beautiful because it doesn't come easy. It's rare. For me, it took a long time to find love, even though I don't have a significant other. Oftentimes, you actually have to experience negative emotions in order to truly appreciate the magnitude of love that might already be around you. Put aside your expectations, because I promise you, love is all around. I know that's cheesy, but I swear, I see it all the time. And especially if you're feeling lonely, each of us has the capacity to love. You have the capacity to love, so you can start with yourself. I found that the best way to love myself is to create, because no one else could ever create what I create. And I think that is the ultimate way that you can love yourself, because you are empowering yourself to bring something into the world that didn't exist before and that could not exist if not for you. So spread love. I love you guys, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Where'd he go? God, camera shy.